What's up, everybody? My name is Godzi, and welcome back to some more Umineko. This is the third time I'm recording this intro, because the first time I tried, the phone rang as soon as I started. The second time, I realized I was in full screen mode, so now I'm in windowed mode. And, yeah, this time I should be able to actually do the video. So last time, shit kinda hit the fan. Nobody died, but Maria's left out in the rain because Rose is a bad mom. And that's really all I can say about that. Also, Kinzo was doing something. He threw a ring in the fucking typhoon, so that's cool. People are probably gonna die soon. Either way, let's get back into this shit. A news ticker popped up on top of the TV program we were watching. The disaster report told how municipalities all over were continually sending out rain, flood, and wave warnings. Of course, the raindrops beating harshly on the window were even more convincing. This rain's incredible. Still, when it's raining this hard, it also feels like it might stop at any moment. You wish! They said the typhoon's moving slow, so it might be like this all day tomorrow. And even a little bad weather stops the boats from coming. It looks like we won't be able to head out on Sunday after all. Just in case, I cleared all outside business from my Monday schedule, and I'm glad I did. Which means, looks like we'll get to skip school Monday. Living on an island's starting to sound pretty good. Come to think of it, Jessica, you've got to take a boat to school every day, don't you? What do you do when the boats stop running? Do you stay home when it rains and show up late when the wind's blowing like King Kamehameha? If the boats don't come, I stay home. Still, it's not as good as it sounds. Usually I'm ordered to study by myself, and it's not that fun with someone standing right behind you watching everything you do. What the fuck are... I understand that Japan's a very, like, academic-centric society. Like, that's why there's the whole doctor stereotype. But it's like, come on, your parents watch you study? You're 18 years old. I mean, I don't know what the legal adult age is in Japan. It might be 20 for all I know, but in the United States it's 18. And my parents stopped watching me do my homework in 2nd grade, so yeah. Continuing, during the rainy season, does the weather ever stay bad for a long time and make you miss a bunch of days in a row? That does happen sometimes. Still, I'd get a call from my homeroom teacher every single day, who'd sourly guide me on how I should teach myself and what I had to turn in. She can't skip school as easily as you're imagining, Battler. She's got to follow the rules for people that travel to school by boat and get a good amount of studying done. It'd actually be easier to just go to school. In my own room, I get distracted and can't concentrate. After being made to do nothing but workbooks for several days straight, it's pretty hard to handle all that mental stress. When I get into college, I really just want to go to some dorm and quickly say goodbye to this inconvenient island. Ah, okay. By the way, what do you do when the weather's good in the morning, but then gets so bad on your way home that the boats are closed? Do you spend the night at school? That actually happens a lot. Because of that, they've built some lodgings there for people who can't get back to the island they live on. That's where you'd spend the night. Sometimes when it gets really bad, you can't get back home for a few days at a time. Motherfuck, I'm glad I don't live on an island in Japan. Someone commuting to school or work on a train packed to twice its capacity might carelessly think that commuting by boat would be pretty interesting and fun, but it sounds like it comes with troubles of its own. You hear thoughtless tourists saying stuff like that all the time. I've had enough of island life. I really want to just graduate high school and say goodbye to this island. Yeah, I want to graduate high school and say goodbye to high school. But there are all dorm schools even for high school, right? Why'd you choose that Nijima school of all places? I've wanted to go to one of those from the beginning. But Mom's always going on about how I need to learn manners and discipline as a successor. So I ended up sticking close to home even for high school. Man, I hate this island. I just want to go live in a city. I don't care if rain or even spears fall from the sky, as long as I can move to a city where I can wear casual clothes and sandals. And can get to a convenience store in less than 5 minutes. Yeah, that would make sense. It's called a convenience store and it's like an hour away. I kind of feel the same way. I live in a rural bumfuck area in New York, so... Fucking Christ, the nearest store is about 7 minutes away by car. But traffic is pretty bad. There's like... How many highways go through my town again? There's at least 2. Yeah, there's 2 highways that go through my town, so... Well, 2 state routes, rather. So it's a little... No, 3 state routes, actually. There's 3 state routes in my town. So, and I have to cross at least one of them, or go down at least one of them, just to get to that nearest store. Actually, maybe that other one's closer. I don't know. There's 2 in the village that I can get to easily. There's a Walmart in the other direction that's about as far away. But they don't sell lobster bisque. So that's fucking dumb. And also their soda sales are worse. And since my favorite food is lobster bisque and my favorite drink is soda, yeah, you know which one I'd go to more often if I had money. Just hold out a little longer. Just a bit more and you'll graduate high school, right? Was that Batware or George? I couldn't tell. So I tried to mix their voices there. I can wait a little longer. Jessica stretched out and reclined in the sofa. Maybe it was a bad time slot because there weren't any interesting programs on, and we had nothing to do but languidly kill time until we were called for dinner. After that episode, Maria never returned to the cousin room after all. Aunt Rosa probably took her back to the mansion. It had to be pretty boring for Maria, all by herself while the adults had a confusing conversation. We thought we might as well head over to the mansion to see her, but the weather really was awful. And since there wasn't much time until dinner, we stayed where we were. She's outside still, though, isn't she? At that time, we heard the sound of a humble knock. Jessica answered. Yes? That's... The preparations for dinner are complete. Yeah, tell me which servant is talking, please. Please come to the mansion. Oh, it was Cannon. It was Cannon's voice. Did he go to all the trouble of coming from the mansion in this rain just to get us? Couldn't he have just called us on the telephone? Well, I guess servants at work don't always get to take the most efficient route. Yeah, that's stupid. Like, I have big authority problems. Like, I don't like being told what to do and when to do it. I just prefer doing my own thing. And if anyone else wants me to do something, I'll do it when I can. Like, if I get homework, I don't do it when I get home from school. I do it at my convenience in a study hall and don't bother with it when I get home. And I never get late work, so don't worry about that. I have a study hall every day for 84 minutes. It's plenty of time to get stuff done. But, like, back when I worked at a grocery store, it was kind of painful how inconvenient everything was. Because it was like there weren't Band-Aids at the registers. I couldn't have a drink at the register or food at the register. I don't even know why. The touchscreen fucking computer was god-awful. I was always on Register 3, which at least had a microphone so I could call for help if I needed to, but the quality was awful and I sounded like a fat guy. Just like, yeah, X name to register, please. And I was never able to leave my register except when I went on break. I couldn't even take bathroom breaks. I had to wait for my actual 10-minute break for that. But hey, at least there were, like, near-expired bakery items in the break room, so that was really the only good thing about it, being able to eat apple turnovers and powdered donuts all the time. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a story. I might make a separate video talking about my experience working at a grocery store, because you know that shit gets popular on YouTube. Call me the next Odd Ones Out. I need to learn how to quote-unquote animate. Just when I was getting hungry. Let's go. George turned off the television and stood up. My stomach's been growling for a while. I've always been a huge fan of the main family's dinners. And didn't Goda say it was calf steak or something? Oh, I can't wait. I'm not a huge fan of cow meat, but pig meat. Fucking hell. Give me some ham, slap some gravy on that shit, put some corn and mashed potatoes on the side. That's a dinner. Or just give me a bowl of spaghetti and I'm perfectly content with that too. Our dinners are always even more fabulous than usual when the family conference comes around. Even I'm looking forward to it. Let's go, let's go. As we left the room, Cannon bowed silently and respectfully. Okay, let's go. Is the rain pretty nasty out there? Yes. Take care not to get your garments wet. The yes was a little more deep than I wanted it to be, but fucking who cares. After seeing the three of us out, Cannon peered into the empty room. Wasn't Maria with you? No, she's not. Wasn't she with Aunt Rosa? Oh no. Yeah, she was outside. I do remember that from the anime. Rosa was lying on the sofa in the empty parlor, having fallen asleep before she knew it. She was bearing a burden that the children couldn't even imagine. That's why she only needed to let her guard down a little, before the weariness immediately dragged her into the world of sleep. Realizing this, Genji brought a blanket over to her. When he tried to spread it over her, her eyes snapped open as though she'd been shocked with electricity. Ah. Thank you, Genji. When she realized that the thing that had touched her was just a blanket and that Genji had been considerately giving it to her, she let out a sigh of relief. Did I wake you? My sincere apologies. No, it's okay. I hadn't planned on sleeping in the first place. What time is it now? When he was asked for the time, Genji checked a pocket watch that he took out of his chest pocket. That looks like a handkerchief, but okay. It is slightly after 6. Rosa gave her head a little shake when she realized that not much time had actually passed, even though it felt like she slept for ages. Even though she didn't feel rested at all, the drowsiness that had enveloped her must have been pretty deep. Thank you, I'll be fine without the blanket. I mustn't sleep at such a strange time. My sense of time has been completely thrown off. The rain has finally started pouring down in earnest, hasn't it? Rosa finally realized that the peaceful sound that had put her to sleep was actually the rain. I do love the sound of rain. I really do like fall, because leaves are falling, the wind's blowing into them, and it sounds cool. I love the sound of leaves getting raped by gales. And rain, too. Rain sounds fucking amazing. Like, hearing rain just go, like, for 24 hours at a time. Oh my god, I love it. I don't like going outside in the rain, because getting wet is not on my priority list, but hey, I like the sound of it, and it's a good sound to fall asleep to. Also, wind. Fucking wind whistles. Oh my god. I'm I'm going a little too in-depth on sounds that I like. But weather in general is cool, except for snow and fucking sweltering summer heat. And I live in New York. So, my idea of sweltering heat is like 80, so that's fun. The wind's blowing hard, too. I wonder if the typhoon's finally here. That's what they said on TV. The typhoon is moving slowly, so they think it will be like this all day tomorrow. Really? So our last chance to see that wonderful rose garden must already have passed by. From the window, what she could see of the rose garden was completely blurred by the wind and the rain. Maria. That's right, what about Maria? I have not seen her. Did she not return to the guest house? Ooh, fucking creepy music. Rosa knew her daughter's nature well, so a chill ran down her spine. Maria was stubbornly honest, and if she was ordered to find something that didn't exist, she would look forever and ever, even in pouring rain. No. The cousins left before I did, so Maria was alone. Unless someone told her to stop, she'd stay there even if it started raining spears. Without even opening an umbrella. Is raining spears like a common Japanese phrase? Because it's been said twice by different characters this episode. How could I have lost control of my emotions and done such a thing? Even though she'd known about Maria's simple honesty better than anyone, she'd once again lost control of her emotions and done something terrible. Maria! Rosa pushed Genji away and ran down the hall. Ow, that hurt. The outside really looked like a typhoon, and the rain was pouring down spectacularly. Maybe because of some aspect of the terrain, the winds weren't typhoon class, so an umbrella wouldn't be torn out of one's hand. Even so, it was certainly a windy rain. Is the rain going sideways? I fucking love sideways rain, even though sideways snow is more interesting, I guess. There was no time to admire the roses being drenched. Anyway, I'm getting pretty worried about Maria. You don't think she's still rebelliously searching for that rose alone, do you? I wonder. Surely she wouldn't do it in this rain. Or at least, I wish I could believe that. But Maria sometimes gets really stubborn and intensely straightforward. We hadn't worried much, thinking that Aunt Rosa had taken her back to the mansion. However, when Cannon had come from the mansion to call us and thought Maria was here, we got a little worried. I did not see her in the mansion, so I was sure she was here. After all, Rosa was taking a nap. You didn't see her on your way over here? My apologies. I opened my umbrella and ran as fast as I could, so I did not pay much attention. If he had cut through the rose garden, taking the shortest line between the mansion and the guest house, then he would have just barely missed the place where Maria had been looking for her rose. And it was raining this hard, too. It certainly would have been possible for Cannon to fail to notice her. Instead of arguing around here, it'd be faster to just check it out directly. George, why don't we race over there? Oh, do you think you can beat me now that you've been growing for 6 years? Okay, let's settle this. Go! George and I flew out into the rain. Jessica and Cannon followed us. Maria! If you're there, answer me! Maria! It's Aunt Rosa. Hey, Aunt Rosa! When George called back, Aunt Rosa jumped at him and grabbed onto him. Where's Maria? Isn't she with you? No, we didn't meet with Maria after that. Maria! 6 years ago, Maria was three years old. She was a cute and pure kid who just accepted whatever anyone said. But 6 years have passed since then. She's 9 now, and experiencing the ups and downs of life should have taught her something. But Maria, are you telling me you're still as innocent and pure as you used to be? Maria! As I circled the rose bed, something white unexpectedly turned to face me. It was a white umbrella. Maria was crouching down, holding a white umbrella and still searching for that rose. Well, at least she's smart enough to use a fucking umbrella. Her face, which had turned a bright red from crying her eyes out, was dirtied with water and mud. It was a truly pitiful sight. Maria, are you still looking? Can't find it. Can't find my rose. Maria had probably been here since the rain started pouring down. Her shoulders were freezing. She looked tired to the bone, but fortunately, since she was holding an umbrella, she wasn't completely soaked. The umbrella probably came from the handbag Maria always carried around. Thank goodness. Seriously, thank goodness. Battler, thank goodness you found her. Maria! I'm sorry, I'm so sorry! Aunt Rosa threw her umbrella aside and hugged Maria. It's not here. My rose isn't here. The fucking fucker fuck! Oh my god! What the fuck? Oh no! Oh my fucking god. Alright, sorry about the random fucking cut to the random fucking cut of me screaming what the fuck. Sometimes I hate the fact that my family has a business, and we get calls all the time. It just rang twice from the same person because they forgot to leave a dumbass message the first time. I'll look for it with you later. Okay? So just put it on hold for today, okay? Put it on hold for today. It looked like Maria still wasn't able to accept it, but she no longer had enough energy left to resist. Jessica and Cannon caught up with us. I'll have a towel ready in the mansion immediately. Maria, were you here this whole time? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being such a bad mother. You said it, not us. Aunt Rosa, why don't we head back to the mansion for the time being? If we stay here, Maria will catch a cold. You're right. Maria, let's go. If we don't get you cleaned up, Grandfather will be mad. Ew. Hungry. It's already time to eat. You did a good job holding out, Maria. Once the weather gets better, we'll all go search together. We couldn't stay in the rain forever. We took Maria with us as we headed back to the mansion. Maria apparently wasn't as worn out as I'd thought. When she remembered we were having calf steak for dinner, she started chanting, I'm hungry, ooh, ooh, and returned to her usual spirited self. Aunt Rosa didn't chide Maria for saying ooh, ooh. I see. So she had an umbrella on her. Maria sure is good at packing the right stuff. For a 9-year-old, she is relatively smart, I guess. Ew. I didn't bring an umbrella. Ew. Oh, she's gonna fucking say the witch gave it to her. What? Then how'd you get that white umbrella you're holding? Ew. I borrowed it. Some caring person must have brought her an umbrella. A normal kid would look for shelter once it started raining, but Maria was too stubborn to give up so easily. So maybe that caring person gave up on telling Maria to find shelter, then decided to at least give her an umbrella. I see. I'll have to thank that person. Who was it? Ew. Beatrice. Fucking... Of course, yeah, duh. Who else would give Maria, the person who believes in the witch, an umbrella? The witch herself, duh. The name Maria cheerfully mentioned was that of the island's witch. Rosa took a deep breath and asked again, trying to do so in a way that wouldn't damage Maria's good mood. Really? That's wonderful. So who was it? Who brought you that umbrella? Beatrice. Ew. Maria immediately realized that her mother didn't believe her and started crying out unhappily again. So Rosa stopped pursuing the subject. It'd probably be faster to ask whoever lent Maria the umbrella during dinner, rather than ask Maria herself. Thump, thump. Fucking father, please at least join us for dinner. It won't be a family conference otherwise. It was Kraus, okay. Father, please at least join us for dinner. It won't be a family conference otherwise. Along with a dull pounding on the door, the sound of Kraus's entreaty could be heard. However, that voice seemed to be resigned to the fact that nothing it said would be heard. Kinzo, won't you at least come out for dinner? All your children have gathered here to see your face, haven't they? Silence, Nanjo. So the bishop won't work. One move too short. Apparently, Kinzo was completely focused on the final battle of his long-lasting chess match with Nanjo. Kinzo's brow was wrinkled as he continued to glare at the game board through his spectacles. Krause's voice didn't reach his ears. Kinzo, I'm hungry myself. Why don't we go down and eat? Go by yourself if that's what you want. Let me consider this next move for a little longer. We are going to finish it tonight. Otherwise, it's doubtful we'll finish before the world ends. Nanjo rose from his seat, hoping this would prompt Kinzo to do the same, but Kinzo's eyes never left the chessboard. We knew well that Kinzo always displayed a blind concentration when it came to chess, but he'd never seen Kinzo concentrate as hard as this. It was almost as though Kinzo was telling the truth, and there would never be another chance for them to continue their contest if they didn't finish tonight. It seemed that no matter how obstinately he called out to Kinzo, it wouldn't reach the latter's heart. Nanjo gave up and headed to the door that Krause was still banging on. The door to the study opened. Krause was taken aback, thinking that maybe Kinzo was actually coming out. However, Nanjo was the one who appeared, and Krause let out a sigh of relief. Dr. Nanjo? His father? I'm sorry I couldn't be of service. Right now, this room is Kinzo's whole world. Nanjo shook his head with a completely defeated expression. Krause raised his fist once more and banged on the door, shouting, Father, can you hear me? We're heading down now, but please join us anytime you feel like it. All of your children are waiting for you. His voice was very loud, and he was making a racket pounding on the door. There was no way it wouldn't reach Kinzo's ears. Well, it certainly was reaching him, but he ignored it anyway. However, unlike the time he'd been called down for lunch, he didn't fly into a rage. By now, Kinzo was calm at heart, almost as though he had taken on a philosophical view and turned himself over to fate. Neither dinner nor the faces of my children interest me in the slightest. I will only leave here if Beatrice is resurrected, or if I am chosen as a sacrifice for the key. The demon's roulette has already started spinning. What meaning does dinner have at this point? As though the painfully loud banging on the door completely failed to enter his hearing, Kinzo silently thought about his next chess move, still in his philosophical state. Damn. Just as always, Kinzo's figure couldn't be seen anywhere in the dining hall. Krause, wearing a bitter smile, returned with Nanjo. Father says he is still not feeling well. He truly regrets missing this once-a-year opportunity to sit together with his gathered family. Eva and Rudolph sniggered. You mean snickered? I don't think sniggered is a word. Given Kinzo's personality, there was no way he'd show signs of regret, and none of his relatives showed any regret at his absence. Then why don't we start dinner? Goda, begin. Certainly. Well then, if you will allow me. When Goda was told to start the family conference dinner, his biggest time to shine of the whole year, he nodded with a broad grin. May I ask who lent Maria an umbrella? When Rosa timidly cut through the silence of the dining hall, everyone noticed. An umbrella? What's this about? A short while back, Maria was in the rose garden when it started raining, and she apparently borrowed a white umbrella from someone. I wanted to thank them. It wasn't one of us. After you left, we moved to a different room and had a friendly chat that whole time. Haha, that's right. Even after that, the siblings had a real friendly chat. The word friendly fell awkwardly from Hideyoshi's lips, so even those who had been present could tell the conversation hadn't been a pleasant one. At the very least, it couldn't have been me, Eva, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, or Kyrie. We were together the whole time, even after Natsuhi and Rosa left. The whole time until the meal started. Brother went up to the study with Genji to call father. At that time, the rest of us went straight to the dining hall, so it wasn't one of us. Couldn't it have been a servant kind enough to lend an umbrella? So it was you, Goda? I have been in the kitchen the whole time preparing. My sincere apologies. Goda looked slightly disappointed about missing this chance to show off. At that time, Shannon and Kumasawa appeared, pushing a serving cart loaded with hors d'oeuvres. Then what about Kumasawa or Shannon? Yes? Has something gone wrong? Because Shannon had come in part way, she shrank back, mistakenly thinking that the others were searching for the one responsible for some error. It isn't like that. It started to rain when Maria was alone in the rose garden. After that, someone lent her an umbrella, and Rosa said she wanted to thank that person. Ew, Beatrice. Maria, her mouth a thin line, said the witch's name in a small voice. I mean, if she thought it was Beatrice, Jessica is the one that looks most like that painting, I guess. Aunt Rosa explained the situation one more time. As she did, Kumasawa cackled. Ha ha ha, it wasn't us. Shannon and I were preparing the rooms together, so we did not go outside. Yes, I'm sorry I wasn't able to be of assistance. Preparing the rooms? What do you mean by that? Because of the rain, we thought it would be troublesome for all of the guests to return to the guest house. So the servants were ordered to prepare the guest rooms inside the mansion. Really? How thoughtful! Yes, it certainly would be rude to chase us outside in this rain. Could you give it a rest? Yes. After receiving the order from Madame... Oh wait, shit, she's still talking. Yes, after receiving the order from Madame, Kumasawa, Cannon, and I started preparing the rooms. Then it became time for dinner, so Genji ordered Cannon to go to the guest house and summon the children. Yes. So did Cannon find Maria on the way to the guest house and hand her the umbrella? Ew. Wrong! The person who had actually received the umbrella denied it. Rosa was troubled. All she wanted to do was give a word of thanks to the person who had lent the umbrella, but she couldn't find them. And she'd thought asking like this with everyone gathered for dinner would work immediately. Then, was it you, Natsuhi? I'm sorry. After everyone's friendly chat, my headache was so bad that I have been resting in my room. Therefore, I did not go outside. Then who was it? George and the kids? That can't be right. No, it wasn't us. We were watching television in the guest house the whole time. Actually, we thought Maria had just gone back to the mansion with you. Then Cannon came, and he asked whether Maria was with us. That's when we first realized she wasn't in the mansion. I mean, if it were me, I'd have grabbed her hand and pulled her under a roof before giving her an umbrella. Rosa was completely baffled. One by one, the relatives and the servants denied that they had done it, even though it really wasn't something anyone would need to hide. So by process of elimination, the number of remaining candidates wasn't large. Of course, it wasn't me. Right after it began raining, I visited Kinzo's room, and I was playing chess with him until just now. Which means that it also wasn't Grandfather. Wait a sec. Isn't this starting to get a bit weird? Who's left? Then who was it? Genji? Huh? Wait a second. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm searching for some culprit or anything. All I want to do is, as a mother, thank the person who gave Maria an umbrella in the middle of the rain. Giving an umbrella to a girl loitering in the rain was something to be praised, not hidden. Despite that, no one raised their hand. Why not? Everyone started whispering about how strange this was getting. Calm down, Rosa. Why don't we just ask the person who was lent the umbrella? That's what everyone had been thinking since the beginning. They were all just scratching their heads at why she didn't just ask Maria, who had been given the umbrella. However, Rosa bit her lower lip. After all, she already knew how Maria would answer if asked. Of course! Rudolph here got it right. Maria, tell your uncle. Who lent you the umbrella? Beatrice! The dining hall was wrapped in silence for an instant, but it was soon interrupted by a burst of laughter. Ha ha ha. I see. So Beatrice, the witch of the forest, felt pity and lent her an umbrella. What a lovely story. Rosa, there you have it. Rosa couldn't believe it. Even though she just wanted to say thanks for the umbrella, why did everything have to be so clouded in smoke? Ew! Just like Uncle Kraus said! Beatrice, let me borrow it! Ew, ew! Isn't that wonderful? We should all be jealous of such purity. What do you think, everyone? Kraus was laughing with a face that was clearly mocking, but Maria was overjoyed, apparently convinced that her claim was being believed. How did that work? Does that mean a witch really appeared and lent her an umbrella? Jessica asked me in a small voice that wouldn't carry over to Maria, who was sitting across from me. Has Maria ever been the type to make jokes? If we'd heard that kind of story pop out of my old bastard's mouth, we would have just taken it as another joke. However, it was hard to explain it away like that when... What? It was hard to explain it away like that when Maria said it. I don't know. This was getting pretty unnerving. No way. She's always been frank and serious. She's the sort who'd believe any joke, even ones normal people could instantly tell were lies. I've never even heard of her cracking a joke. Aunt Rosa probably knew that better than anyone. It appeared that because of this weird situation, she had no idea what was going on anymore. So if Maria says she borrowed an umbrella from Beatrice, that must mean it really was Beatrice? We're talking about Maria here, so I can't think of it as some kind of metaphor or joke. It might be best to take what she says at face value. Then what's going on? Are you saying Genji or someone put on that fancy dress from the portrait and gave Maria the umbrella? I'm not sure about that. Actually, that's what I want to know. Jessica shrugged jokingly, but her expression didn't completely match her attitude. Once the hors d'oeuvres were set out and Goda showed off his vast store of knowledge, the meal began. A couple of casual chats broke out here and there, but they seemed somehow distant. And the meal ended up being so quiet that you couldn't ignore the sound of the rain sneaking into the dining hall. Huh. Kumasawa and Shannon, pushing the serving cart, ran into Genji and Kanon on their way to the kitchen. Oh, it's Genji. Did you lend Maria an umbrella? An umbrella? What are you talking about? Well, I heard that when it started raining, Maria was alone in the rose garden. It seems she borrowed an umbrella from someone there, but we don't know who it was. It wasn't me. After all, I actually thought Maria was in the guest house. When Battler first found her, she was already holding a white umbrella. My apologies, but it was not me either. Then, could it actually be the master? Both in the dining hall and right here, everyone had stated that they hadn't done it. That only left Kinzo, but... maybe he went walking down the corridor for some reason, when he just happened to see Maria in the rose garden, without even an umbrella. The master is not particularly fond of Maria. I agree. I can't imagine that, for Maria's sake, he'd go to all the trouble of descending the stairs with an umbrella. Oh my, how troublesome! Does that mean the one who lent Maria an umbrella really was Beatrice? Ha ha ha. Kumasawa laughed, just like the relatives in the dining hall who laughed it off. She couldn't think of any other way to break through the smoke veiling the current situation. Just then, the crisp sound of hands clapping twice rang through the hallway. They all turned around at once to see Goda coming out of the dining hall. Okay, everyone. When serving a dinner, proper timing while setting the table is essential. Please immediately see to setting out the soup. Genji, the women are in the middle of an important job, so please don't get in their way. Kanon glared at Goda for being rude to Genji, a person Kanon respected. Genji, realizing this, patted Kanon once on the shoulder as a warning. Kanon reluctantly turned away and returned his expression to normal. Obey Goda's instructions. Hurry and prepare the dinner table. Come now, there's no time. Don't dawdle. Hurry. Goda grabbed the serving cart from Shannon and steadily pushed it towards the kitchen. I really don't like Goda. He's kind of a douchebag. Then please allow us to return to the kitchen. After all, Goda's temper is very short. Please excuse me as well. Kumasawa and Shannon left. Only Genji and Kanon remained. Through the window, the darkness of the rainy night could be seen, along with the occasional thunderbolt. Genji, did Beatrice really return? I don't know. Shall I inform the master? That is not necessary. If she truly has returned, she will eventually appear before the master of her own accord. Furthermore, she is a fickle person. It would be pointless to report to the master only to find that she does not appear. I wonder if this means the master's ceremony has already begun. Probably. However, that has nothing to do with furniture like us. We must continue to return the favor we received from the master until our final moments. So the servants know about that roulette thingy? That's strange. Yes, that is furniture's duty. The thunder crashed once more. Except for those instants when lightning lit up the sky, nothing could be seen out the window but the darkness of night. Just as humans rule when the sun is up, those that are not human rule when the sun is down. The darkness of night that now surrounded Rokenjima was ruled by another master, not the Ushiromiyas family. Did this master take pity on Maria when she was alone and being pummeled by the rain in the rose garden, lending her an umbrella? Kanon looked at the rose garden's lights, dimly visible beyond the window. The dim lights weren't enough to illuminate the surrounding area. Looking at those lights felt like making eye contact with the witch, and Kanon forced himself to avert his gaze. If he didn't, it felt like his eyes would be absorbed by that light. Wow. Can the weather change how people act? You often hear stories about how things like atmospheric pressure can influence people's moods and physical health. For some time now, everyone had been struggling to clear the gloomy atmosphere. But any conversation was quickly cut off. and in the end, the dining hall was simply filled by the sound of the rain. Dessert was some kind of chocolate cake, accompanied by pear sherbet. Sherbet? It's sherbet. Isn't it? Is it sherbet? I don't know. Goda enthusiastically explained the recipe as soon as this final dish was presented, but I quickly forgot the details. The guest of honor, grandfather, was absent. The weather was horrible, and the identity of the one who'd lent Maria an umbrella remained as a mystery. When dinner ended, no one felt even one bit refreshed. It was too late now, but I realized painfully that taste wasn't the only important part of a meal. The whole atmosphere was also critical. Goda, the supposed conductor of this musical piece called Dinner, did his best to enliven the place, but dropping little jokes left and right, but apparently not one of them succeeded. Damn. After taking orders for after-dinner coffee, tea, and orange juice, he left for the kitchen. Damn, my jokes didn't work. Guess I'll never be a comedian. As soon as he disappeared, Uncle Kraus spoke. My. What a waste that the dinner Goda worked so hard to create has met with such a gloomy atmosphere. Yes, absolutely. It just feels like nothing would taste good today. Huh. I'd like to know why you feel that way. Later on, I'll do all I can as your older brother to help cheer you up. Aunt Eva grimaced slightly. I'd already heard she wasn't on good terms with Uncle Kraus, but it was pretty clear now. When I looked around, I noticed that my father and Aunt Rosa were also grimacing. Apparently, there was something besides the weather troubling all of them. Both Aunt Eva and my dad aren't looking too happy. Really? I don't think so. I asked Aunt Natsuhi, who was sitting on my right, but she seemed to be in a bad mood as well. She snapped back as if to say she was absolutely not interested. Well, our adult conversation got a little complicated. It isn't something kids like you need to worry about, Battler. Ha 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 ha. Isn't that right, Natsuhi? Kyrie? Uncle Hideyoshi laughed as he spoke, but without his usual brightness. I could vaguely imagine just how complicated their adult conversation had become. On top of that, even Aunt Natsuhi and Kyrie, the people he had directed his comment to, ignored him as though they hadn't heard anything. I didn't know what kind of conversation they'd been having while us kids were away, but it reminded me of how Dad said he had stomach cramps when he arrived at the mansion. The family conference might have been a playful reunion to us kids, but it was definitely different for the adults. After Uncle Hideyoshi's comment was ignored by the other adults and an awkward silence fell over the room, Kyrie spoke up. We were talking about how the kids' careers would turn out. Such as what lies in your future, Battler. Will you just drift on to college? Wouldn't that be a little disheartening as a starting line for the long race of life? Hey, wait a sec. Kyrie, if you start talking about something like that in the middle of a meal, it won't digest well and we'll all end up getting constipated. Wahahaha. That's right. We were talking about Battler and Jessica's careers. You've got to think seriously about the future. Wahaha. Hideyoshi heartily agreed as if they really had been talking about that, but that was probably wrong. Kyrie had obviously been trying to change the subject. However, if Kyrie had determined that this was the best course of action for now, then she was probably right. Taking this into account, I cast aside my suspicions as to the cause behind Aunt Eva and Dad's bad moods. At long last, the serving cart returned, filled with coffee and tea. Jeez, what kind of fucking order of food is given to you guys? Because it was like, there was some weird, like, sweet appetizers, then the actual meal, then a cup of soup, then dessert, and now coffee and tea. That's just a strange order to me. Kumasama and Shannon served it to everyone. Goda then explained that this concluded tonight's meal. If only the mood had been a bit more cheery, it might have been the best dinner in my life. It was a shame this best of dinners couldn't have been had under the best conditions. Ew! George, is dinner over now? Over? Yes, with this, dinner is finished. Don't be rude. Stay in your seats and calmly drink up. Ew! Maria looked like she was really excited by the occasionally crashing thunder. Maybe she wanted to quickly finish eating and run over to the window. I mean, kids are curious about things, even thunder. I love thunder. I've always liked thunder. I don't want to get struck by it, and I don't want to see anything get struck by it, but I like the sound of it, it's cool. She had been fidgeting for a while, waiting for the meal to end. Some people are afraid of thunder, while others find it interesting, and Maria was apparently one of the latter sort. Therefore, when she heard from George that dinner was over, a huge smile broke across her face. Smug Maria's going ham right now. She then rose from her seat, took out her handbag, which she'd set under her seat, never having left it even while she was eating, and began fishing around inside of it. No one seemed particularly concerned by this behavior. What's that? Where did you get it? George was the first to notice it. As he spoke, Batware noticed too. Oh, a letter. Oh no! Uh-oh! Shit. I remember this letter. This is not good. Shit's about to start. They saw that Maria was now holding a beautiful, Western-style envelope. On the front of the envelope, the Ushiromiyas family crest, the one-winged eagle, was done in gold leaf. Furthermore, the fact that it was sealed with dark red wax made it clear that this wasn't something Maria could have brought as a prank. Maria, what is that? It seemed that Natsuhi had also noticed the strangeness of the envelope Maria was holding. Her voice sounded too serious for someone admonishing a small child, so the relatives around us finally noticed too. What happened, Natsuhi? What is that? Maria? Where did you pick that up? That envelope has Kinzo's... When Nanjo muttered that, even us kids could understand why everyone seemed to be frozen solid. The envelope that Maria held was one of the Ushiromiyas family head's custom-made envelopes for private use. In other words, it could only mean one thing. This envelope contained a message from Kinzo. Huh. What is an envelope like that doing here? Now that's an interesting thing to come jumping out at us. Just let me have a peek. Ew, no way, I'll read it. I was told to read it to everyone. Uncle Hideyoshi tried to snatch the envelope out from Maria's hands, but she protected it as though hugging it and didn't let it go. Hideyoshi, you can't use force against a child. Maria, where did you get this envelope? Oh, I got it from Beatrice when she gave me the umbrella. She told me to read it to everyone after the meal was over. I'm the witch's me messenger. Oh. Messenger? The almighty witch of the island sure likes to mess around. Batware tried to joke about it, but no one laughed. I wonder what's written inside of it, Maria. Oh, gonna read it. Oh. Maria casually opened the envelope. Oh shit, I'm a little scared now. I've seen the anime, I know what happens, but Jesus Christ. This is much better than the anime. This is episode 7, no one's died. At this point, we'd be in, like, the second arc in the actual show, so yeah. It was sealed only with wax, so she just had to remove the sealing wax to open it. That sealing wax fell onto the desk. Hideyoshi hastily picked it up and stared fixedly at it. He then set it in the center of the table, where Natsuhi, Kyrie, and Nanjo stared at it. Imprinted in the sealing wax was the one-winged eagle, which was the Ushiromiyas family crest and also Kinzo's personal crest. This is the family head's personal crest. I know it from the letters I have received from Kinzo before. Without a doubt, this is his wax seal. But aren't there several things in this mansion bearing that crest? For example, if there was some kind of stamp for wax seals, couldn't someone other than Kinzo have used it? No, Kinzo would always use a ring on his finger. His proof of the Ushiromiyas family headship when he sealed the wax. He did toss a ring out the window, though, so someone could have used it then. This shape and complex design is definitely Kinzo's seal. That is not necessarily so. Anyone in the family must have received a letter from father at least once. We can't eliminate the possibility that someone used that wax as a model to create a fake seal and pass themselves off as father. I agree with bro. No matter how much the seal resembles Dad's, we can't prove that it's the real thing. So it doesn't prove this envelope came from him. I absolutely agree. I cannot approve of arbitrarily deciding that this letter came from father, based solely on the wax seal. Dr. Nanjo, couldn't you use a bit more discretion with your vague words? I apologize. It was not my place to speak. Fucking sorry, burping. One after another, all of the siblings from Kraus on downwards rejected Nanjo's statement, saying that the envelope Maria held wasn't necessarily from Kinzo. They were afraid. They feared from the bottom of their hearts that Kinzo's intentions were written in there, and that it might be some announcement regarding the inheritance that would be decidedly unfavorable to them. Maria, the person who gave you that envelope was the same person who lent you that umbrella, right? Ew! I don't know what "ew" means. Is it true? Yes. Ew. So in other words, the witch, Beatrice, gave Maria that envelope along with the umbrella. Ew! Maria nodded forcefully. I agree with my husband. Oh boy, that's a meme from a couple months ago. Jesus Christ, that should not make me laugh. It's a dubious letter handed over by some suspicious person. It isn't even worth reading. There's nothing wrong with just reading it, right? Batwer said it to Jessica in a small voice, trying to act tough, but not till he heard him query and glared at him with threatening eyes. And then, Beatrice told you to read it after the meal was over, right, Maria? Ew! It's okay, everyone. This envelope didn't come from Grandfather, but from Beatrice. Regardless of who actually wrote it, why can't we just hear what's inside before we decide? That's right. Even if Father didn't necessarily write it, I'd still like to know what's written inside. Maria, I'm sorry I tried to take it from you by force earlier. I apologize, so will you read it aloud in front of everyone? Maria, read it. Ew. As all the relatives stared fiercely at Maria, she spread the letter open with a rustle. Do you think it really did come from Dad? Impossible. Whenever Father has announced something to us in the past, he would always send Genji if he didn't do it directly, correct? I cannot believe that he would use such a joke-like approach. That's right. Maria, a messenger? That definitely doesn't suit Father's tastes. Rosa, could this be Maria trying to surprise us by putting on some kind of show? Maria isn't really a kid who'd be capable of something so thoughtful. Gonna read it. Ew. The words came out of Maria's mouth, but for some reason, her voice seemed different from usual. Everyone suddenly went silent. Uh-oh. Welcome to Rokenjima, members of the Ushiromiya family. I am Beatrice, the alchemist for this family employed by Kinzo himself. Ha, that's crazy. Quiet. I have served him for many years in accordance with our contract, but on this day, Kinzo has announced the final suspension of that contract. Therefore, I ask that you acknowledge my resignation from the position of family alchemist from this day forth. How foolish. What nonsense. I can't stand to listen to it. And now, there is one part of the contract that must be explained to all present. I, Beatrice, lent Kinzo a vast quantity of gold under certain terms. One of these terms specifies that all of the gold is to be returned to me upon the termination of the contract. This fucking music. Furthermore, I am to receive everything of the Ushiromiya family as interest. Ridiculous. It's been ridiculous from the very beginning. I'm just kind of guessing who's speaking. So it's basically one of those things, right? Doesn't it sound just like one of those contracts with the devil? The contract has expired, so they've come to collect the interest. Is she trying to grab some retirement money for her old age or something? What a cheeky witch. Battler, now isn't the time to joke around. Battler made a face as if to ask, I can't make fun of it. If I can't make fun of this, what can I make fun of? Some of the adults' faces were pale, while others looked dazed. After hearing this, you may feel as though Kinzo had been savagely ruthless. However, Kinzo did append a special clause to the contract so that you would have a chance to preserve your wealth and honor. If and only if that special clause is fulfilled, I will lose my rights to the gold and the interests for all eternity. A special clause? What is it? Special clause. Beatrice retains the right to collect the gold and accumulated interest upon the termination of the contract. However, if someone is able to discover the hidden gold of this contract, Beatrice must abandon these rights for all time. The collection of the interest will proceed shortly, but if any one of you fulfills the terms of this special clause, I shall return everything, including the portion that has already been collected. Furthermore, as the first step in this collection of Kinzo's debt, I have taken possession of the Ushiromiya family head's ring, which signifies the passage of the Ushiromiya family headship from one individual to another. I ask that you confirm this for yourselves by examining the imprint on the wax seal. Oh boy! Are they trying to claim that that's the meaning behind the seal? That Father would relinquish his ring is unthinkable. Kraus stared at the sealing wax as if trying to burn a hole through it. Eva and Rudolph were doing the same over his shoulder. Come to think of it, when we were playing chess, I did have a strange feeling that something was missing from Kinzo's finger. Dr. Nanjo! Don't say something so careless just because of a vague memory! We can't prove its authenticity here. Only by asking Father directly can we determine whether he really handed over his ring, and whether this letter tells the truth. That's right. It's just as Kyrie says. Do you really think Kinzo will tell you? After all, that person's thoughts sometimes surpass the bounds of common sense. No matter what happens, it's still nonsense! In the first place, the illusion of gold itself is one of Father's tricks. I've already heard enough talk of that gold from the rest of you. But this is the witch speaking, right? About how the inheritance and all the assets will be handed over to the one who finds the gold, right? So maybe Beatrice is Father's legal advisor, or in charge of his funds. We can't possibly trust some strange person who entrusts such a suspicious paper to a child. Bro, we need you to be frank with us. Is it possible Dad's assets are being managed by someone you don't know? No, that's impossible! As the family head's representative, I control all of Father's assets. It shouldn't be impossible for anyone to do as they please with them without me knowing it. So this must mean there are some assets you don't control, right, Kraus? How foolish! Such assets could not possibly exist. Oh, but there is such a thing. An asset of Father's that you don't control. There's no way such a thing could exist. No, it does. It's Father's, no. Beatrice's hidden gold. Let's keep it simple. In short, Dad had some trusted confidants that Bro doesn't even know about. Furthermore, this person has always been in charge of watching and managing the gold. Or it could be some eccentric rich person who offered him a loan with rules like a devil's contract. Could it be that this confidant called Beatrice is trying to test which of Kinzo's children is most worthy to be financed by her gold? Kurie's question was one that all the siblings wanted answered. Upon reflection, they realized that Kinzo's strange epitaph had hung in the hall beneath the witch's portrait for quite some time. And while it had long been whispered that whoever solved the puzzle would receive everything, no one had ever clearly stated it. It was just something that everyone had hoped might be true. And right here, right now, the thing they'd hoped for had been clearly stated in Beatrice's letter. It clearly specified that everything of the Ushiromiyas family would be given to the one who found the gold. Kinzo had already publicly displayed the location of the hidden gold within the epitaph under my portrait. The rules apply equally to all who can read the epitaph. If you discover the gold, I shall return everything to you. Tonight I ask that you enjoy your battle of wits with Kinzo to the fullest. I sincerely pray that this night will be both intellectual and elegant. Beatrice the Golden. Huh. Kraus, likely? Father, I know that you can hear me. Please respond. The door to Kinzo's study was being violently, harshly beaten against over and over again like a percussion instrument. The yells coming from the other side belonged to Kraus, Rudolph, and sometimes Eva. It was the siblings who were trying to intrude upon Kinzo's study to question him about the truth behind that mysterious letter. Kinzo was eating. An elegant tablecloth was set over the desk, and the fabulous dinner that had adorned the table down in the dining hall was reproduced here. Kinzo continued his meal in silence. Shannon, taking away an empty plate, looked uncomfortably between the door being pounded on and Kinzo's face. Everyone is calling for you, but what should I do? Leave them. God and my meals both hold silence as a virtue. Should I silence them? There's no need. It does not even reach my ears. Kinzo enjoyed his food, apparently indifferent. Genji quietly lowered his head and took a single step back. As he did, Cannon, who stood in reserve like a shadow behind and to the side of Genji, opened his mouth. Maria apparently received a letter from Beatrice, so I imagine they want to test its authenticity. Ha ha ha. Has she already started then? Come, Beatrice. I have no shortage of coins to be wagered. Shall we enjoy this night to the fullest? I don't think I'll lose. Your smile will be mine for all eternity. If I could see it one more time, I wouldn't regret losing my wealth, my honor, or even my life. Well then, the roulette has begun to spin. Which pocket will the ball fall into? Nor, Rouge, or House Takes All? Come, you may begin, Beatrice. I'll show you the power of miracles once more. And it's gonna, yep, I figured, the shatter effect. And what time is it? 8, 9, 10. It is 10 p.m. That was a long dinner. We were eating for 4 hours. Well. Okay, get on with it. Alright, so that's probably as good a place to stop as anywhere, and I don't think I'm gonna get a better stopping place. So this is probably about only like 52 minutes long. Sorry, but sometimes shit happens and I can't reach an hour. But regardless, that's gonna be it for this episode. If you liked it, be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye!